I was going to tell you why I wasn't doing Halloween until now, and I got sidetracked in a rant. Yeah, the kids when I moved here, I'm not sure what happened, but they started bullying me. It wasn't terribly surprising to me because I've been bullied a lot before, but they started with throwing bits of lunch into the yard, and progressed gradually to throwing things at the window, snowballs, rocks, eventually a Molotov cocktail. It took place over about 7 years. And my pleas to the police, that at one point I actually faxed them a letter saying, listen, if you don't do something about the situation, a child will get his head beaten out on the curb. I was losing my mind. Stress will do that to you. After the Molotov cocktail, the police finally stopped treating me as a crazy lady, and which is, you know, how bullying victims are often treated, especially if they're perceived to be more physically powerful than their aggressor. But, you know, it wasn't really an option to go out and spank these children, assuming I could catch them. I mean, what was I supposed to do? You know, I built a big fence, they still threw stuff at me. I started ignoring them completely. I put bars up on the windows. They still threw stuff. What was I supposed to do? Move. That was everybody's best advice. Move. Anyway, in that kind of a climate of tension, you can understand I didn't want to hand the little freaks candy. I also, you know, generally spent my Halloween sitting in the dark guarding the house. Wasn't much fun. I was afraid to go out because I might come home and find a firebomb. I was afraid to hand out candy because, well, I didn't want to hand out candy. I just hated them all so much. The last thing I was going to do was give them candy. And, you know, so I tended to just stay home and watch the house, and nothing ever happened on Halloween. That was the interesting thing. So this year I'm married, my husband wants to hand out candy, and what's more, I'm not too broke to buy and hand out candy. You know, all those years I was so damn poor. Why would I spend a week's worth of grocery money on candy for a bunch of kids I didn't know, didn't know? Well, you know, I mean, the ones I was feeding candy to probably wouldn't have been the ones that were throwing rocks at my house, and I knew that, but at the same time I just couldn't afford it. So I'm kind of excited about Halloween this year. I've got, we're going to get a pumpkin and carve it. I offered to Dan to do the carving. I don't know if he will. I'd be happy to carve it. I like carving, but I don't care. You know, and I think maybe he'd get a real kick out of carving it, and I could tell him how wonderful it was. And yay! Now, he's good at that kind of thing. He's good with a knife, and he's got a great eye for three-dimensional stuff and creativity, so he'd probably make a really cool pumpkin. Wasn't scary. I've got a skeleton out in the garage that I used to put in my passenger seat when I would drive around this time of year, and I can't anymore because Dan drives there. But Uncle Bob is still a treasured member of the family. He's a life-size plastic skeleton that on first glance looks authentic. When you take a closer look, you realize, okay, it's anatomically incorrect and made of plastic. But he looks really good. They've managed to spray the bones with something that makes it etched, and he's actually slightly larger. If he was a real man, he'd be 7 feet tall. And so I've got him in a goofy flap hat and a scarf and some gloves, you know, with the fingers open so that his fingers stick out. And I'm going to park him out there on the bench on the deck, along with a bubble mister, or a fountain mister if it's not too cold. And we've got spider webs to drape in the trees. I've got these spruce trees that hang really low over the sidewalk, and I've got a severed head and a giant bat. So a few little goofy things I can decorate the place with, and some black lights to put in the porch light. That'll be fun. I got a witch's hat. Dan's got a Jason mask that he's going to wear under a ball cap, and it looks spooky. It does, especially because it glows in the dark. And I'll just plop a witch hat on and dress in black because, you know, that's easy. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to Halloween. That was what I was going to tell you in the last vlog, but I got sidetracked on a feminist rant about religions and why I chose witchcraft, even though I'm really much more of a Buddhist. Oh yeah, You know, and it's funny to hear myself making feminist rants because I'm a liberal user of the word feminazi. There's nothing I detest more than a woman who comes roaring up at me telling me how to be a woman and bitching at men and talking them down instead of just trying to figure out, you know, what these creatures are about and what we're about and how the two genders can coexist. You know, I mean, I like it when a man opens a door for me. I want to be allowed to pick up something heavy if I feel inclined to, and my latest comment on that is, let me pick it up. Weightlifting decreases your risk of osteoporosis by increasing your bone density. And that works. You know, I'm a let me do what I can. Don't make me do what I can't. But treat me like I'm precious. So I'm definitely not classic feminist. Because, well, maybe I am. I want my cake and eat it too. I want her to have it all. Don't we all? But I like to work hard. I don't want someone taking that away from me because I don't have a penis, you know? I don't want to be told what I can and cannot do based on my genitals. I don't want to be told who I should be based on my genitals. I don't want to be told how I should look based on my genitals. If I was a man, I would probably be a transvestite because sometimes I like to dress up pretty. But I also dress up very masculine a lot of the time. It's just practicality. It's what's comfortable. It's what's easy at the moment. So, really, I think I'm an equalist. Anyway, that was my Halloween that transmogrified back into the rant again. I'm going to have to do a full-on feminist rant sometime. I've never really written it up in an essay or anything else, but you should read some of my essays at my website, www.villasubrosa.net. Click on the link to essays. Some of them give me chills even now. I mean, I can read them and read them again, and it seems like somebody else wrote them. They're just too smart for me. I'm very proud of them, so I hope you'll check them out.